Hello and welcome to another Betfred sports video right here in the Quest Media Network studio. Now, of course, there's only one place to start today, and that's in the Champions League. Peter, absolute heartbreak for Manchester City, but ecstasy for Liverpool, and we now know it's going to be Liverpool taking on Real Madrid in the final at the Stade de France. That's going to be an exciting one. Well,
it should be a tremendous game. I mean, two European heavyweights there going head to head. You've got a feel for City. They had that in the bag. I mean, talk about having a victory from the jaws of defeat. It was unbelievable. Yeah. It was. Basically, I don't think Guardiola, when he reflects back on that, will be impressed with his substitutions because he made those changes thinking the game was won, and it wasn't won. He should have been aware of Real Madrid's never say die attitude, and they certainly got back into it. Any team with Benzema is going to get back into it, and they got those late goals, and basically they deserved it because they kind of wanted it more in the last sort of 5-10 minutes. They really got stuck into City. You just knew they were going to win that game when it went into extra time. It was clearly, as night was passing day, it was the substitutions were poor, basically. And Guardiola's got it all to do now because those owners in Abu Dhabi are not going to be particularly sympathetic towards him. They are ultra ambitious, and the bottom line is he's been there 5-6 years now and he hasn't won the Champions League, and he's had all the resources to do it. They're going to look at the facts that he spent 100 million on Grealish when he should have bought a striker, because Grealish, for that amount of money, should be on the pitch, and he didn't start the game. He's too similar to Sterling, basically, and he obviously prefers Sterling. He holds onto the ball too much for City's style, and these are all things that Guardiola should have been aware of when he brought him in. That money could have been better spent. That's the top and bottom of it. And if City had a striker, it was someone like Harry Kane, Benzema, this Haaland, someone who's, or even a kind of a regular scorer in the Premier League.
Just someone who knows where the back of the net is.
Then that first tie against Real Madrid, it would have been out of sight. They would have won by 6. They could have absolutely hammered them in that first half. So that's where that game was lost. Having said all that, I thought Guardiola conducted himself with great diplomacy after that defeat. He didn't start whinging about the referee, which I suspected he might do. Because that referee let a lot go, but it was letting a lot go for both sides. I thought he did overall pretty well. You know, he was balanced. He didn't sort of favour one team above the other, and it was a penalty. So that was another mistake by a defender. So at the end of the day, I thought that Real Madrid were the better team, and they certainly had a better desire to win that game. So we go into that final, as you say, on May the 28th. Liverpool are the favourites for that. They're 1-2 with Betfred. Madrid 13-8. But you should never rule out Real Madrid the way that they come back at you. They never, ever give up. So that's the way that we see that final going in Paris.
Well, they've got a great history in that competition. It's certainly going to be an exciting one, and we don't have too long to wait. But as Peter alluded to then, you know, the Manchester City owners, they want the Champions League. They're going to have to wait at least another season to possibly deliver that success. But is the pressure now mounting on Pep Guardiola? I mean, we return to the Premier League this weekend, and Manchester City face Newcastle United at the Etihad Stadium. And I tell you what, Peter, that one's taking place on Sunday, but 24 hours earlier, Liverpool, if they pick up the 3 points, the pressure will certainly be on Pep Guardiola then.
Yeah, well, it's not the first time there's been pressure on him in terms of Liverpool getting ahead of them and then City winning again and taking over, leapfrogging them back to the top of the table. I wouldn't like to be in Newcastle's shoes, put it that way. That's a team that is basically on the beach, the mid-table. City have got it all to do, and I'm pretty sure City will win that game. Betfred have City 1-6 to win, Newcastle 14-1, draw 13-2, and we've got Mahrez, who was in great form against Real Madrid. He's 3-1 to score the first goal. De Bruyne, who wasn't in great form against Real Madrid. In fact, quite a few of them were dipped in their high standards. he looks a little bit sluggish, I thought, De Bruyne. Anyway, he's 10-3 to score first against Newcastle at the Etihad on Sunday. Jesus, he's also 10-3. Sterling 7-2. Foden, his form dipped a little bit, but from a fantastically high standard. He's 4-1 to score the first goal. And as you say, Liverpool, they play Tottenham at Anfield on Saturday night. They're 4-9 to win. This is much the harder game because Spurs are still in the shout big time for a top 4 finish. Spurs 11-2. Mo Salah, naturally enough, he's 11-4 to score first. Mane 7-2. Diaz, he's 5-1. And Betfred have a special bet that if City to win the last 4 games, they're 2-1. Liverpool to win the last 4 games, they've been offered now at 3-1. And for both teams to win the last 4 games, which I've got to say Fred's praying for, which I'll come to in a minute, they're 10-1. That's 10-1 for both teams to win the last 4 games. That's 10-1 from 6-1. I mean, I'm speaking to Fred this week, as I do every week, or virtually every day nowadays, and he was saying that he thinks there's another twist in these last 4 games, and that's why he's making those prices available. But they're special prices, those. So if you really think that they're going to both finish those 4, they're going to win the last 4 games, it's 10-1. You won't get that price anywhere else other than at Betfred. So Liverpool are on for the quad now, and they're 9-2 with Betfred to get the quad. That would represent one huge double whammy for Fred, because everybody knows he's a United supporter, so you'd have to take that from all the mocking Merseysiders. And also, he'd lose £750,000 because he paid out early, I recall, on City to win the title before Christmas. So that would be one amazing double whammy for him.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, whatever happens, it's certainly going to be an exciting end to the season. But just to recap on those special offers, Betfred are putting out there for Liverpool and City to win the remaining 4 games. That's both of them. That's 10-1. And for Liverpool to win the quadruple, you can get them at Betfred at 9-2. Now, just taking a quick look at the League One semi-finals. So on Thursday night, Wycombe Wanderers beat MK Dons 2-0 at Adams Park. They've got a good advantage going into that second leg. But tonight, you could argue that it's probably one of the biggest League One semi-finals ever. We've got Sunderland taking on Sheffield Wednesday at the Stadium of Light. So Sunderland are priced at 13-8. The draw is 11-5. And Sheffield Wednesday, to win the game, have been priced at 7-4. Now, we're also going to take a look at the Snooker World Championships, because Ronnie O'Sullivan, he became a 7-time world champion to match Stephen Hendry's record. Peter, a fantastic achievement for him at the Crucible.
Yeah, well, we've been sponsoring the World Championship for many years now, and it's a tremendous event. It's one of the first names on competitions in the sporting calendar at the Crucible, of course. So O'Sullivan made it 7 titles. He matched Stephen Hendry's record there. And Fred's been telling me how he just can't move without people asking him, what did you say to O'Sullivan when you presented the trophy? Because O'Sullivan was giggling and they were hugging each other and whatnot. Anyway, I can reveal now that what he said was, he said, if you come back and do it again next year and break the record, then you can have that 3-1. And O'Sullivan, quick as a flash, said, no, that's a bit mean, Fred. He said, I want 4-1. He said, right, you can have 4-1, you can have a special prize. And then he said, if you do it 10 times, if you actually get that World Championship 10 times, then you can, and he's 40 odd now, O'Sullivan, so he's getting on a bit. But if you get it 10 times, then Betfred will pay you 100-1. So that's what got him laughing at the end.
Well, there you go then. Ronnie O'Sullivan, now a 7-time world champion, so congratulations to him. Of course, we always cover the Rugby League on these Betfred Sports Talks videos. And there's a huge weekend coming up because it's the Betfred Challenge Cup semi-finals. We've got St Helens taking on Wigan and Hull KR taking on Huddersfield Giants. Peter, a big weekend of Rugby League coming up and some huge games.
Yeah, it doesn't get much bigger than that. Saints against Wigan, semi-final. We've got Saints, the favourites now, 8-13 to win that. And no, we haven't. So they don't come much bigger than that. And we've got Saints 4-11 to win. Wigan 23-10 to win the game. To win the Challenge Cup outright, well, Saints are the favourites for that. 8-13, Wigan 7-2. Tommy Makinson, Regan Grace, they're both 13-2 to score the first try. Jay Field, that's fantastic acquisition from Australia. He's 7-1 to score the first try. And we've got Mark Percival and from Saints and Bevan French from Wigan, both 8-1 to get that first try. So there's two games, both at Ellen Road, in the Betfred Challenge Cup semi-final. First up is Wigan against Saints, and secondly Huddersfield against Hull KR. A lot of pundits are naturally saying that the winner of the first match, i.e. Wigan and Saints, will go on and take the trophy, and that on form it's looking like how it'll pan out. But it should be a tremendous afternoon at Ellen Road on Saturday.
Absolutely. Well, there you have it. And don't forget, the Tameside Reporter and Glossop Chronicle are out right now from certain selection points. And on the back page of this week's Tameside Reporter, I spoke to former Stalybridge Celtic manager Simon Howarth, who has resigned from his position, citing backroom issues as a reason for doing so. And then on the back page of the Glossop Chronicle this week, I spoke to Glossop Rugby Club captain Josh Edwards, who's relinquishing his role as well. So we'll just quickly recap on the fixtures this weekend. In the Premier League on Saturday night, we've got Liverpool hosting Tottenham Hotspur. We've also got Brighton taking on Manchester United. That, of course, is on Saturday as well. But then the biggest one, arguably, on the Sunday, because the pressure could be on Manchester City, they're hosting Newcastle United. And if you do fancy your punt on any of those fixtures, Betfred stores are now open, but you can also bet online via their app.